instead of looking at it and saying, oh my God, I never thought about it like that. It's always such an interesting take when guys come at me and are like, oh my God, it's you projecting and you're just hurt. Being able to have conversations about holding men accountable for poor behavior. They come at the women like, well, you're so hurt. No. Why can women not be hurt from the situations, the scenarios that come out of being in a relationship with a man who has very poor behavior? The idea that people get so mad when I say that, yes, it is a complete power and control move when an older man goes after a younger female or a female that doesn't have the means to take care of herself. It is a predatory way of getting into a relationship.
Right here, we have an individual who has centered her entire TikTok around arguing with random people online about the types of women and the types of men that go after each other, I guess. I watched a few of her videos earlier. And here you have an individual who thinks that men, wealthy men, by the way, they seek out and look for women who are poor and without means so that they can use power and their money to control them. This is what she really believes. This is what she truly believes. I hate to break this to you, but a lot of women out there, a large majority of women out there, ma'am, would prefer to be with a man with a lot of money, regardless of any type of control or anything he has over her. That's just the way society is. Women value money over everything else. So he could treat her like complete trash, which happens in a lot of situations, even cheat on her or even be married, be in a whole marriage. And these women will still gravitate towards these men all because of the money and the social status he brings. Let's take a quick look here and let's read this comment. Such a bad perspective coming from a place of hurt, sounds like. This is basic conditional versus unconditional love. Men ask what she look like. Women ask what she do. Women offer conditional love. I have to agree with this guy here. Women do offer a conditional love. Any man that's been in that situation knows, if you've been in a relationship or if you've been in a marriage, once you take away those, let's say the guy, he falls on hard times, he's looking for another job, or in any sort of situation that involves possibly maybe a hardship, the women are out the door. They would rather leave you, which happens all the time, leave you and not help you, because women aren't about helping the men they're with. Women are about being there at the finish line. They want to make sure that they're there once he crosses the finish line with that money, so they can have the easy life. They have the retirement plan. They can kick their feet up. They don't want to have to work. They don't want to have to do this. If they're not able to do that, this is the result. You get women online who are yelling into a camera, arguing with other men that are just making common sense. This is just common sense stuff. This is common sense. The woman is going to gravitate to the man that has the money. That's just the way it is. Is this every woman? No, majority of them, but not everyone, I guess. But then again, I don't think these men are actively going and looking for just poor women. It's kind of insane to think about. The wealthy men are actively looking for poor women to become their servants or something like. What do you do? What's going on? To use their money as power? She doesn't have to be poor. She can just be an average woman. What's poor? In my mind, I think when a woman says poor, then that kind of means that she doesn't own a Bugatti or she only makes $100K a year. All these women say that if you don't make $500K a year, you're not even average. So who knows what these women think?
Poor behavior. The idea that people get so mad when I say that, yes, it is a complete power and control move when an older man goes after a younger female or a female that doesn't have the means to take care of herself. It is a predatory way of getting into a relationship.
Those women go after those men, by the way. I don't know if I've said that, but those women actually seek out those men. They seek out the men with money. So that the men are actually probably just minding their own business. The women are seeking them out. Let's continue.
The reason that it's predatory is because it means that the woman doesn't have the ability to leave him. Think about that for a second. When a man who has money goes after a woman who doesn't. He is anticipating that she will never leave him because she's going to need him for his money. In the same context, he's going to get mad that women only come after him for his money because that apparently is the only thing that he can offer. And no, this is not my experience. I have not lived this experience. And even if I had, it actually would be better for me to talk about this because I would have the experience from the situation. I am not just making this up, though. This is a consistent and constant discussion.
No, it's not.
Topic, something that people don't want to talk about as well. Because
nobody's talking about it.
A lot of men have to look at themselves in the mirror, and they have
nobody
to
really cares about this
for doing this and thinking like this.
Thinking like this? You mean thinking like a national adult? Is this what it's come down to? So here's the error in her thinking. For one thing, wealthy men don't have to look for women. The women are going to be looking for them. Even older men, that's just the way it is. You take an older guy that has money, he can sit at a bar and women will be approaching him. That's just how it works. If you've ever seen any of Shira Seven's videos, Sprinkle Lady, that's how it works. These women, it's not that they're poor, they're broke. They're gold diggers. They're going to be looking for men with money. That's where the term comes from. However, there isn't a term for men that are rich that go for poor women. There's not a term for that because it doesn't exist. You ever notice how when things exist, there's a name for them, and when things don't exist, there's not a name for it? It's very interesting how that works. So here's the follow-up video, and it's another reply comment. Let's go ahead and read this comment real quick. It's not that men chase women that make less money. That's what I said. It's that what she earns has no bearing on whether he views her as a potential partner. Now, if he's old and chasing 19-year-olds, then fair point. That is a fair point because a lot of these older dudes are looking for women that are super young, and these women are of legal age. They're able to do this, and they're going with these men. This has been happening since the beginning of time. I don't know why this has to be explained, but oh, she did not like this one. Or I guess, I don't think I've seen this one yet, but let's watch it.
So let's expand on this just a little bit. This is not the point I'm trying to make. I am not trying to make the point that men don't go after women for finances and women go after men for finances. Nope, I am not making that point. I am solely making the point that women who don't make money or don't have the means for themselves are sought after by men who have money because in men's mind, they're going to be able to control the situation. And I am saying that is abusive and that is predatory.
Women want to be victimized and oppressed to the point to where they create these delusional situations in their mind. She thinks there is this epidemic of rich men going after poor women to control them. That's not happening. Is there a word for it? If there's a word for it, I will search for it and Google it. But this is not happening from what I've been seeing. I've been seeing, now me personally, I've been seeing women going after wealthy men, and that's been happening a whole lot. But then maybe those men can use the money to control. I don't know what goes on in these situations. I'm not in one of those situations, so I can't speak on it. But evidently this woman who's never experienced this says it happens all the time, and it's happening at a rate that is alarming, and she needs to post multiple videos about it, arguing with these men. I've never seen this. I've never heard of this. If anybody's heard of this happening, of rich men purposely going out of their way to find poor women to control with their money, like a puppet master and their puppets, is there a name for that? Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard of this.
The topic of men don't go after women for what they have or they don't look at their finances is a completely different topic. And to even think that the two of those are similarly in the same category bewilders me. And it bewilders me because they're not in the same category. See, I am talking about men who are specifically going after women who don't make money because that is, in their minds, the ability to control them so they don't leave. And I see that in comments, I see it in videos, I see it from women who have talked about this before, where men tell them, you get married, and the man's like, he wants you to have everything you want. And
if they get married, then she's gonna get half his shit anyways. What are we talking about here? Now we've hopped up on the marriage train. I thought it was just like a guy and like he's got a harem. Now all of a sudden he's getting married to these women. Like, what are we doing here? If he's getting married to these women, even if they sign a prenup, she's getting half in the divorce. And if they live in the United States, there's no control. She can go to a lawyer and get a divorce. She can call a lawyer. She can text a lawyer she'll Snapchat her lawyer, and he'll be over there and then in no time ready to get some of that money too. This is complete. And now I know why she's. Now I know. I saw a video previously where she was talking about she's quitting TikTok because of all the. Yeah, now I know why, because she absolutely makes no sense. This is complete delusion. She's creating these fake narratives and stories in her mind. You know, someone needs to get her one of those in her home to make sure there's no fumes in her home that is contributing to this sort of brain decay, because there's something going on here. This isn't happening. None of this is happening.
And I'm going to give you a nice house and you're going to home and have the kids. And then he literally, in every way, shape, or form, except he sleeps in the same bed with her. And she's like, hey, what's going on? And he uses the excuse of, well, I financially provide for you, so you need to just do all these things for me. It's abusive and it's predatory. Having a man that wants to look at a woman not for what she earns is not the same thing. It's not even in the same category.
So she said it was predatory and the word. So let me get this straight. So she marries the man. The man's got the money. He's paying the bills. He's got the big house. He's doing everything. And then she married this guy. And then she's mad because she has to do some chores. What? She's set up for life. So now she doesn't want to be a wife? What are the expectations here? What are the expectations? Because the way I see it is that a lot of these women know what they're getting into. Okay, a woman has to say yes. If a guy asks a woman to marry, woman, she has to say yes. It's not like they're twisting her arm. Doesn't have she doesn't have an S&W pressed to her head. Say no if she wants. But now all of a sudden they're married and she's seeing the same situation she's been seeing for years, and now all of a sudden she has a problem with it. She can divorce, she can get half his shit, and then she can have both. She can have the money and she can not be controlled. So what's the issue? This is how it's been happening for years.
There's no discussion about how any of that is similarly related. And honestly, if you are a guy and you make decent money and you are finding a woman who has no way to take care of herself or doesn't have a job or has a measly job and doesn't make money, and you're not paying attention to how she takes care of herself already, you are kind of yourself into that category. Because yes, you should, as a man, be paying attention to what a woman does in her own life. You should be paying attention to whether or not a woman in her like her 40s, does she have a career? Does she have a projection of her life? Does she want to do something other than just sit at home and not think about the world? Like, does she have some sort of purpose? Because if you're just looking at her to have babies and to take care of your home, you're looking at a woman as a serviceable item. And that's not okay either, in a completely different topic.
A serviceable item. This is what women think. This is disturbing. Now she doesn't have a whole lot of followers. She has 15,000 people that follow her, which is, nice size. Sure. Congratulations. But the bad takes. There's this last one I want you guys to see. Now this guy, it's a stitch of a guy who stitched this chick and then she stitched the guy. This guy, I watched his original video. This dude is the biggest simp cuck I've ever seen. Like, worse than that other guy that's on Facebook that I see sometimes. I actually had to block his ass because I kept seeing his videos and everything he said was just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But this guy, this dude, this is...
I have to use my brain. But y'all got me out here acting like a full-on...
man that is truly mad.
Please go back and watch that whole video. Honestly...
Oh, you don't have to watch the whole video. Let me tell you what he says. He says that a man that is masculine is going to make sure that he takes care of his woman financially, emotionally, sexually, this and that, and make sure that she doesn't have to think and she can be in her feminine energy and all this stuff. Basically, it's the femcel, cuck war.
Honestly, I'm in the same damn place. I don't want to have to use my brain. I don't want to have to think. I want to be my soft feminine self. And the moment that you put me into this position of I need to use my brain, I need to be the one to provide, I need to be the one to figure this out, I need to be the one to problem solve, I'm in my masculine.
So using your brain means that you're... What did she just say? Using your brain means you're masculine? Is that what she just said? Man, we all have to use our brains. That's a pretty good screenshot right there. Man, we all have to use our brains, okay? Never going to overwork myself to make sure that a woman that is in my vicinity gets to use her brain less than I do. Okay, if anybody's going to be using their brain less, it's going to be me, damn it. Okay, ain't going to be no damn woman that's next to me. Okay, you think she's going to be taking some of the mental load off of me. That's how it's going to work. Okay, we've been confused for way too long. Okay, too long. Okay, I think we flipped it. Okay, think that part of a woman's feminine energy, hear me out, is to take off some of that mental load and other loads from their man, to make sure that he constantly in a state of post clarity, if you know what I mean, and where he doesn't have to use his brain. Because look, when men use their brains, especially when they don't want to use them, well, you know what happens. We've seen it too many times. You become like dude right here. Where is he? That dude. This guy. That video was insane.
It just disappears. And he comes on to say that a masculine man is the one who provides and doesn't just provide financially. And you all need to stop thinking that it's all about fucking money, because it's not. It's about providing safety. It's about providing leadership. It's about providing purpose. It's about providing determination. It's about providing all of those other things. And a lot of times finances come into play because they're dedicated and they are determined and they're not going to let the world, fall apart. And
what have we been hearing since the beginning of time? We've been hearing that a woman will not respect a man if they make less than them. A woman cannot respect a broke man. A woman cannot respect a man that can't buy her this and buy her that. And how you going to be a man if you ain't going to be able to buy a Bugatti? And how you going to be? So everything she just listed is connected to the financial. So when she says that, oh, it's more about the finances, all about the finances. That's what it's all about. It's completely connected to the finances because everything else is revolving around it, according to women. You ask a man, and he'll say the exact opposite. He'll say, well, money, man, is important in today's society, but that's not what makes a man masculine. And have a masculine man, and he can be no money. Jeff Bezos, you might think he's like masculine. That's kind of, that's a question I just asked.
So financially, they're growing and they have all of that taken care of, okay? Go on, listen to his whole video because he does give a very good
thank you.
Of masculine. But I will say that there's so many men that come on my page that argue with me and they're like, well, you just have to be in your feminine. No, if you're not meeting and you're not running into women that are in their feminine, it's because you are in your feminine and they are being required to step up and be in their masculine. I'm in my masculine very much a lot of the times. When I meet someone who can allow me to not feel like I need to be stepping up and providing direction in the conversation and asking all the questions and, things, it is so easy. It's like my body just relaxes and I just become dumb. Like I know the moment that I am in the presence of a masculine man is when I become dumb. And trust me, I am not dumb. I am a very fucking intellectually smart woman. So there aren't enough men that are out there that can do that. And that's kind of the point. That's been the point of my entire page for a very long period of time is we need more men who understand what masculine means and actually step into their masculine, work on themselves, and are no longer in this feminine role of, oh, baby, take care of me. I don't know how to do this, and you need to do all these things for me. And that aren't concerned and worried that women aren't doing something in a relationship. Because the moment that you're in that, you are in your feminine, you're going to automatically place your partner, your female, the person you're dating into their masculine, and then you're going to get mad that she's not feminine and soft enough.
You know what? I couldn't disagree more. I think that if you listen to a guy like this, the only place it'll get you is wasted years, maybe a few kids you'll be paying child support on after the divorce, alimony maybe. The only place that guy's going to get you. Okay? All about making sure to treat her like a queen and making sure that you do this and do that. That sounds good. To women, this sounds amazing, but women hate this, okay? Absolutely hate this. They'll run with it for a little while, but they will completely rip you apart, honestly. Taking advice like that from these two people are absolutely insane. Will say that they want a man that has a lot of money. They want a man that is masculine, that works out, certain height. Never take into account what they're bringing to the table. You need to go, woman, hey, what are you going to do for me? I'm doing all this stuff for you. What are you going to do for me? And what they'll tell you is all the things they're not going to do. They're not going to clean for you. You're not going to get it on the regular. If he has a headache, you ain't going to be getting it for a week. Okay. She's going to have that on lockdown. She's not going to cook for you because, you know, would she? There's absolutely no benefit. So a lot of men are seeing this. A lot of wealthy men are seeing this as well. They are looking out in the world today, going for those younger women. If you think it's manipulation or if you think it's some sort of scheme to control their life and to take power over them, which is completely insane to me because the way she described it, it is some sort of epidemic that's happening, that a bunch of rich men got in a room and they're kind of like rubbing their hands together and like to see how they can control all these women, when in fact it's the opposite. It's the women who are listening to content creators like Shira7, the Sprinkles lady, and they're actively going after these wealthy men. But watching these clips, this is a perfect example of so many women that just want to be the victim so bad. You know, a woman who is past the wall, who can get a date if she was spread eagle next to a dumpster, women are begging to be. These women are getting online, saying what they have to say, which honestly, we watched 3 clips from her. She didn't have one good take in any of those clips. Every single take she had was the exact opposite of what it actually is. So the delusion is completely overwhelming. Okay, so if you watch the rest of her video, she has a lot of crazy stuff going on. Let's go ahead and let's read some of these comments here. Here is a guy. He calls her out, saying that she has said in the past that the man needs to make more money than the woman. Okay, you just contradicted yourself. And then this other guy says, when they say it's not about the money, it means it's all about the money. Prove me wrong, he says. And then she said, why should I have to prove you wrong? If you cannot imagine offering anything more than money to a relationship, then that is why to women it is not about the money. When women are only looking for wealthy men to be in relationships with, and those men are only looking for women that are young and have nice bodies and that can their body whenever they want, then that's all they're going to be wanting from that woman. That's all she's going to be wanting from that man. It's as easy as that. It's not complicated. You got to complicate all these things because it makes them feel like they are valuable. It makes them feel like that more to it, and there really isn't. This is really simple stuff. Here's a comment where this guy says, and I'm saying the circumstance you've conjured wherein a man is pursuing a woman because of her limited finance is an outlier. It is an outlier. It does not exist. Oh, and he said the same thing I said. I mean, the survey study where you're using to infer men purposefully to pursue poor women because they're poor. You don't have to do all that. All you have to do is ask her, what's it called when a rich man goes after a poor woman? Because when a broke woman goes after a rich man, that's called a gold digger. So what's the opposite called? That's all you got to say. Oh, and then we got Scott. Oh my God. Scott the simp. He's an older guy. He doesn't know. As an old guy, I completely agree. It's creepy and it's wrong. If it was happening, it would be very creepy. Oh, someone else chimed in, said, you agree? Which means literally nothing because, again, it's not happening. Men just don't give a shit about a woman's income one way or another. Men don't care. Men have never cared. You ask a man what he's looking for in a woman, it's going to be things that have nothing to do with money. He needs to be a good person, pleasant. She needs to be nice to him. She needs to like him. Okay? A lot of women are with men that they don't even like. And you know why? Because he has money. That's going to be the end of today's video. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment down below. Is there a name for whenever a rich man goes after a broke woman? I've never heard of it. Maybe one of you guys have. Help me out in the comments. Tell me if there is a name for it. And if there's not, let's create one. Okay, let's create a name for this delusional way of thinking. But hit like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll catch you guys later.